Hey, it's me, Ave, and I'm going to answer some of your questions that I've gotten about my new song. Not your new song. My new song, Your Heart Belongs to Somebody Else. Okay. The first time I heard it on the radio, I was sent a clip of the audio recording from my label, um, and to be very honest, I started crying because I didn't expect it to happen so fast. Um, so yeah, that was a wonderful experience, just overwhelming. I am with The Giving Groove. It is a label based out of Philadelphia, and it's a philanthropic label designed to basically they match the royalties that the artist gets and gives it to a nonprofit of that artist's choice. So my choice is the Philadelphia Boys Choir. Is the song from Real Life Experience? Yes, it is. I did write that song from a past relationship. I did write this song. It is about somebody that was in my life that I fell in love with. That and the feelings were not able to be mutual because they were with somebody else. About 2 hours to write the song, and it would have taken less time, but I was crying into a bottle of wine, and so it would have taken a lot shorter. But it took me that 2 hours to write the song, and then I wrote it on the guitar, and so it took me about a day or two to transpose it to my computer to then produce it, and that whole process took about 2 to 3 days, and then the full production process took about 3 months. I did not. I played the instruments on the demo that is locked away safely in my vault, but I did not play the instruments on the final recording. I played them on the demo, but on the final recording, the label and I were able to organize some really, really great musicians to redo some of my mediocre clunking on certain instruments, but some of the synthesizers were me. Yeah, some of the digital production was me. Not at the moment. At the moment, we're planning to release a series of singles throughout 2020, and so the next single is scheduled to release on May 27th, and then one around the third one will be around Memorial Day weekend, and then a fourth one sometime in July, we're hoping. If I could have any superpower, what would it be? If I could have any superpower, I would have telepathy and telekinesis. So I'd move things with my mind and be able to communicate to people in their mind. How does my background influence my music? Well, on the next few singles, you'll hear the Caribbean influence in my background. My family is Jamaican, and among other cultures, but primarily Jamaican. And so in some of the rhythms and some of the music, you do hear that. But more personally, my background in the Philadelphia Boys Choir, that influenced a lot of my love for harmonies and the love for music and the different things you can play with harmonies, and the emotions that you can evoke. And then in my undergraduate, I studied musical theater for some time, which influences, I think, the way that I sing and the way that I write music in terms of the storytelling. And growing up in Philadelphia has influenced it in the sense that most of my music, no matter what genre it's classified in, it somehow has a cross to R&B. So that is definitely in there somewhere. Who are my biggest influences? So Janet Jackson, of course, at all times. Pink, Madonna, and Neo. My favorite colors are black and red. If that wasn't obvious by all my pictures. Oh my god. If I was an animal, if I was an animal, I would be some kind of bird of prey, so I could like fly away and like run away as far as I can, but at the same time I could like catch my prey if I wanted. I'm like kind of high on the food chain, so it's less work. How long did it take me to record the song? It took me 3 hours to record the song, surprisingly. I thought it was going to take longer. We thought it was going to take longer, but no. It took 4. It took 4 because the harmony, I had to, because of doubling and stuff. So yeah, it took 3 to get all of like everything down, and then to go back and like double parts and to do all of that extra production stuff took 4. I like to be simple with music videos. I like to portray the energy of the song, and I like to make sure that the message of the song is portrayed, and it's not just, oh, me standing here looking pretty, or me standing here angsty in like rain. Like I want it to be, you know, your heart belongs to somebody else. I want to show me being alone. If I, you know, and then like with the song that will be coming out in May called Dive, it's more of a sexual song. So I want it to be more, you know, sexy, but also expressing like the wanting and like the sureness of you're the person that I want, and you're the this is how I want you to express your love with me. The next song is called Dance. I wanted a song that was happy. I wanted a song that is hopeful, and I wanted a song that could break away from, like a song to kind of escape, because I actually wrote Dance as therapeutic for myself, because when I sing the song, it always makes me smile. And so, yeah, I wanted to share that. So once I realized the impact it had on me, and when I listened to it again, or when I'd sing it when I was kind of down or having a moment, I would sing that song, and then I realized when I do it to my friends, it worked for them too. So it's like, okay. So that's when I talked to the label, and we all agreed, and then we started pitching it, and we started producing it, and what the final product, I think, just does it very, very well. It's just the energy is just joy, and I want to just incorporate joy into the song. Were any of the songs hard for me to make? Your Heart Belongs to Somebody Else was actually very hard for me to make, because I think I learned the art of compartmentalization while working on it, because I can't just like be in the booth and just start like blubbering, even though I haven't felt those feelings in a very long time. I wrote that song about almost 2 years ago, but it still kind of gets me. It still kind of pulls on those heartstrings, and so that song I think is one of the hardest. And vocally, the range of the song is quite like large compared to like Dance. Dance is, I think, within 2 octaves, 1 or 2 octaves. This one, you know, flipping from chest voice to head voice to off voice. It's very vocally challenging. So, yeah. Actually, yes. So, depending on the song. So, if I wrote this, if it's like Your Heart Belongs to Somebody Else, and I wrote the song on sheet music, I like to have all of the sheet music for all of the parts written out beforehand, so I can just go in and I know where I'm doubling, where I want this part to be, where I want that part to be. So I'm not going and say, should I double this? Should I do that? Maybe I could sing it this way. Maybe I could sing it that way. Sometimes there's an element of just being in the moment with like leads and ad-libs, but when it comes to the harmonies and the backgrounds, I know what chords I want to be progressing. I know what notes I want to be hitting, and what emotion I'm trying to evoke with that, or what volume, what intensity I'm hitting those notes. Depends on the song, because dance, I honestly didn't know how I was going to do it. It was just it was a collaboration between me and somebody I was working with at the time. But dive, I knew because of the way I wrote it and because of the inspiration for it. I actually a visual was written for it. I had a dream, and so which influenced the song, and so the dream, I knew how I wanted to do it and kind of incorporate the dream into the video, which I did kind of, the setting at least. Yeah. All right, is that it? Is that all? I can go eat?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.